Bad habits are not your fault. Imagine using an old Nokia brick to run Instagram. Right, it was never even built for it. So when the same thing happens with your brain, why do you keep beating yourself up? Understanding how bad habits work, working tactically, and not just using sheer willpower to just push through is key. And I'm here to explain today. Our ancestors, the cavemen, had to hunt to survive. You hungry? You have two options, either hunt and gather or starve and die. Now anything is much more easily perceived than death itself, and so as a byproduct of necessity, hunting became the easier option and the only option to choose from. As cavemen were faced with similar such situations, it created a pattern inside human brains which were genetically carried forward. And what does this pattern say? Simple: choose easy to survive. In other words, hunt and don't die. Because remember, hunting became the easier option because there were two options, death and hunting, and so hunting was the easier option. And since you were habituated taking the easier option, it became a trait in us to choose the easy thing. And since our brain was never hardwired for thriving, it was always hardwired for survival, our brain still thinks that in order to survive, we still need to choose the easy bits. But really, tell me one thing, does choosing easy apply anymore? Imagine a caveman satiating his hunger having some french fries. Absurd, unimaginable, right? But really, in theory, if the french fries would have been a thing back then, the caveman would is the easier option than hunting a mammoth down. But is french fries really healthy for you? But it's the easier option, right? It should support our survival. But guess what? Isn't. Your brain still runs on old instincts. What neural pathways would contribute towards survival back then contribute against survival in the modern times. If the average caveman had two choices whenever he was hungry, the modern man has to go through millions of different choices. And now, as your brain is hardwired to choose the easier option because, well, survival, your brain will sift through all the options available to him and it will choose the easiest options among the list. Your brain still thinks that choosing the easier options is the way to go, but choosing easy generally leads to bad choices. Hunting now is one of the hardest tasks if you want to satiate your hunger because there's pre-made, pre-processed food available everywhere, and the easiest options include chicken nuggets, fries, burgers, and guess what? They aren't healthy. And the same goes with everything. You want love? There's AI girlfriends. If you want communication, there's texting. If you want a mission and a purpose, there's video games. If you are bored, if you have some boredom, there's infinite doom scrolling waiting for you. Look, in the caveman days, the easiest option did not necessarily mean comfortable options. Hunting was risky and uncomfortable. But as humans started to generally find some solutions to mitigate these risks and enhance human lives, comfort started to take over. So much so that invention didn't necessarily mean solving some human problem, and invention more became about labeling as many discomforts as you can find as problems and then solving them by offering comfort. And this meant business. The world knows how our brain works. These big corporations, these big companies, companies, tech giants, all of these people know how our brain works, and they also know that if they label something as discomfort and then they offer comfort as a product, it would sell. From solving genuinely life-threatening problems, invention gradually became this endless money game where you needed to hijack human emotions, these natural human impulses, to earn money. Just offering easiest to consume solutions to the public became the new norm of invention. As a result of this, the public brain as a collective started being pushed deeper and deeper into this comfort pillow because they were given easier and easier options to choose from. We got gaslighted into thinking that discomfort was bad and that whatever comfort that these companies sold would solve these discomforts, would eliminate discomfort, and since discomfort has been labeled already as bad, it would mean the elimination of another bad thing, which is another one of our survival mechanisms. Just remove as many life-threatening problems as possible. In conclusion, basically, our brain loves comfort, and not necessarily because of comfort itself, but because it is the easiest option. Our brain doesn't necessarily crave sitting on the couch just because it's comfortable, but it's much more easier to sit on the couch doing nothing rather than going out and running. Plus, adding more to that, there's this big billion-dollar companies who are trying to hijack your natural responses and make money out of it. So this really isn't your fault. It's unrealistic to expect anyone to fight against these vices without any proper knowledge. But you are consuming knowledge here, so you are a much more advanced person and you are already ahead of a lot of different people, and you can break out of this bad habit cycle. It really isn't your fault that you have so many bad habits, but it's still your responsibility. Your life takes the direction you give. You control what food you consume. You control what you take inside your body. You control how you act in different situations. Someone said this online while trying to explain how to get out of bad habits, and this is so wonderful. You can't control how your limbs move, can you? So how can you say that you don't have control over your bad habits? Get out of this mental block that you can't control your movement, that you can't control your bad habits. You can physically move your hands and legs and stop scrolling, for example. Like, just use your fingers, just turn off the phone, keep it away from you, and use your legs to move out. Focus on this physical movement. Physically move away from these bad habits, and let me tell you, just physically moving out, physically moving away from these bad habits is 90% of the battle solved. Look, it's still not the Matrix yet. In the Matrix, basically, people lost their ability to physically move even. They were kept inside these like machines or something from where the heat was extracted from their body. But right now, we still have the liberty to move, to physically move. And so emphasize on this physical movement, and this will basically get you out of any bad habit. I don't know if you know this, but your brain can have physical changes in it just by thinking. Neuroplasticity is literally your brain's power to change itself. There's neurons that decide for you to choose easy. You can just stop using them and deliberately choose different neurons which tell you to choose hard. Simply abandoning the neural pathways, the thoughts and actions will gradually weaken them. Simply ignoring these vices, simply ignoring these bad habits, simply ignoring this call to choose easy will weaken that exact neural pathway which tells you to choose easy, and instead choosing wanted neural pathways which tell you to choose hard will train them, will gradually make them stronger. It's just like physical workouts. Like, if you stop working out for some time, you lose muscle mass and you start getting weaker. Whereas if you continue training a particular group of muscles, that group of muscle will grow. Level up in the area of deliberately choosing discomfort over comfort. And sometimes you also need to train yourself to sit down, do nothing, and simply ignore the call to choose easy. Practical tip: keep yourself busy. If you have a higher purpose that keeps you busy, if you have a greater job which keeps you busy, you won't have enough time to even think about these vices. Now, of course, I'm not suggesting that you go out hunting in the woods for food. Remember, some inventions happen genuinely to help mankind. Use them. Identify the middle ground between comfort and discomfort, and choose comfort, discomfort whenever required. Choose as per requirement, not as per compulsion. But again, sometimes you do have to grit your teeth and get the job done and choose discomfort deliberately, because you know deep inside you what's beneficial for you. And so basically, it's a metaphorical equivalent to cooking your own meals instead of going to McDonald's. Even if cooking your own meal is risky and it's problematic, it's a lot of effort, it's still the healthier option. It's time that you upgrade from your old Nokia to a new phone. And just like you do update your old phone, your brain needs an update too. And how do you do it? You do it by training, just as I told you to do so. Deliberately choosing discomfort over comfort. This is the training. I have taught you how to get away from bad habits. Just physically move, physically walk away. I have taught you how to fight these bad habits, which is through practicing to choose discomfort over comfort. And if you keep using these, this is basically the training. There's nothing more to it. And just like that, treat this like a skill. Level up bit by bit, day by day. And sometimes just deliberately, almost unnecessarily, just practice this muscle, just train this muscle of choosing discomfort. Why stay in a hotel when you can camp outside? Why take a ride when you can hike up the mountain? Why do the same workouts every single day when you can try new variations? Why go on the same known walking trail and not try different paths? Why cycle inside the gym and not go outside and explore your surroundings? Why call a mechanic when you can try to fix something by yourself? This is what I meant meant when choosing discomfort matters. Choose these uncomfortable options, even if this sound impractical. It might sound practical to you to go into the gym and run rather than running outside, but it's choosing these uncomfortable, almost sometimes unnecessary options, and it's choosing these options which get you a good level up. Because look, it's not just about training this discomfort muscle. It's not just about getting away from bad habits, but it's also about adventure. Whenever I go out with my bicycle, just, not for training, but just for adventure, just for having some fun, I just go out and go on new routes. There have been multiple times when I have just lost my way, absolutely lost my way. I'm in the middle of nowhere and I'm just looking around like I have got no clue. There are people staring at me, it's awkward, and I just take a U-turn and come back. And now, of course, don't seek this, let's jump off a cliff, sleep in the middle of the road, let's rob a bank. Don't seek these kinds of thrills. These are too extreme. There's a limit, of course, but getting as close as possible to the limit is what matters. Get as close to the limit as possible, but of course, don't cross this hypothetical limit, because also there's laws, there's moral ethics, there's so many different things. And so basically, you don't need to think any extreme measures, you don't need to think anything extreme, but just going out on an adventure, just trying to make some new friends, just trying to talk to other people, just trying to go on an adventure with a bicycle and going on a different route and getting lost and coming back on the same route, just taking a U-turn. All these little adventure points, all these little uncomfortable points, all these things add up, and slowly you build this muscle of choosing uncomfortable paths. And as you build up this muscle of choosing uncomfortable paths, look, if your discomfort muscle was this and your comfort muscle was this, through years and years of training basically from your childhood, as you train this discomfort muscle and as you ignore this comfort muscle, both come on level. This thing gets weakened due to ignorance and this thing gets strengthened due to training. As both of these muscles come on par, you get choose between these muscles, and so now you make the choice based on requirement and not compulsion. You can choose the discomfort muscle whenever required and choose the comfort muscle whenever required. Live a life of exploration both mentally and physically, and physically it's easy enough, but what about mentally? Try different types of meditations, try different types of books, try reading books which don't align with your beliefs, which are actively against your beliefs. Try reading romance novels, because you never know which book holds which life-changing advice. Try treating people a little bit differently than usual. What if you start actually earning respect from them? Be the exploring man you were always meant to become, and internalize this. Growth comes from discomfort. Embrace this who knows, but I'll explore and find it out anyways kind of mentality. Update or get outdated. Seriously, you have to train yourself to go beyond your caveman days. You can't keep running your system based on old software. You need to update your software, you need to update your brain. Taking life quarter miles at a time, taking life like a river. All these things sound good in movies, but let me tell you, life doesn't work that way. Unless you take command, unless you take control, you will keep getting pushed deeper and deeper into this comfort pillow by these big corporations who hijack your comfort systems, who hijack your choosing easy survival mechanisms to make money off of you. Real life success is created by deliberate training. I was completely adamant that I wouldn't be able to reach my peak in swimming again, okay? So before lockdown, I had a great speed in swimming, but after lockdown, since my fitness and everything fell down, I believed that I wouldn't be able to reach that peak. But I deliberately trained at school, and I kept believing that I could be better, and I hit new peaks. Right now, my swimming speed is faster than it has ever been. And so it is possible. It is definitely possible to grow and achieve so many different things through mere deliberate practice. That's just the sheer volume of practice that you can put out. These things work. If you just practice is what matters. I mean, come on, you need to keep practicing, you need to keep training this discomfort muscle. You need to choose discomfort whenever required. You can't keep sitting on the couch. Just go out and take a walk. Just start small, start really small, but start taking small steps towards the uncomfortable. Just take small steps, baby steps towards uncomfortable, and slowly level up. And one day you'll realize that you are making giant uncomfortable leaps which give returns in the long run. And just always remember this. Even if this bad habit ridden lifestyle is not your fault, It definitely is not your fault, but never forget this, it is still your responsibility. My drop in swimming speed might not be entirely my fault because I can't go out and train in swimming pools anymore, but it is still my responsibility to train hard and reach the new peak, prepare myself for a new competition. And I'm giving this swimming analogy because I have faced this myself, I have done this myself, and I know deliberate practice works through this experience, and so I can recommend that you should always try deliberate practice at least and give it a try, take baby steps, keep improving, and never forget, it is still your responsibility.